Welcome to the Nomad Network, your first stop for complete and comprehensive Chicago Bears football coverage. Dive deep into analyses, updates, and all things Bears. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today and never miss a beat. Thank you in advance for your support. We promise to bring you the best because together we're unstoppable. Go Bears!
Yo, no maniacs. Welcome into this edition of Nomad at Night, man. We about to get into it. Sorry about being late. We just had a few technical difficulties that lingered from last week. We hopefully we got it all straightened out and you guys get a good show. Man, it's a lot of Bears to talk about. This is about as busy as I've seen the Bears in a training camp as far as transactions, moving stuff around, tryouts and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if I've ever seen it this busy, but we got it all covered for you all, man. In a second here, after we get through, talking around the board a little bit, I'm gonna put up anybody that's been at work or just ain't been able to hang and see what's going on with the Bears. We have it all ticking on the bottom line. Pretty much got everything. If I missed something, I apologize to you all, but try to get you covered from when the last time we got a chance to get in here and kick it with y'all. But man, we got a good one for y'all, man. It's a lot of guys to talk about, a lot of situations. We're gonna break it all down, man. So without further ado, I'm gonna kick this ball over to Canada, see if he want to shoot a jumper or he want to pass it back to me.
All right. This time, you know what? We'll go behind the back.
Oh, hold on. We already got some.
Is it still?
No. Don't worry about it. We got some love in the chat.
Oh, word up.
Chat. Go ahead, give him some love real quick.
Hey, the homie Shadow Smart. What's going down? Mad respect, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. He says expectations can crack a flawed foundation. That is so right, man. But this is kids' time to shine. Oh, we got some more. Got some more love.
Look at this.
Love.
Smitty.
Leo Factor with 1,000 jewels. GOAT trophy. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Big up.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
One more game.
I see another one. And that's how y'all start a show, Smitty, Leo, and Shad on Sports. Right. That's how you start a show.
Yeah, Smitty went Donkey Kong with the gold coins.
Hey, that's how you start a show, fellas. That's what I'm talking about.
Right on, Smitty. Right on, Leo. Right on, Shad.
Love y'all, man.
Love y'all. That's crazy.
Gold coins for real.
Yeah,
jewels and everything. But yeah, man. Where we at, kids? We it's been a lot going on since the last time we kicked it, man. So we're gonna cover everything.
Well, we're gonna get into all of the Bears stuff.
It's crazy. Showing us love, even though we late in the month.
Sorry, but you know what? I'll take all the credit.
CPT,
I don't know what's going on.
CPT. Canadian
a little bit of that. Canadian people time. Canadian people time. A little bit of that. My microphone is driving me crazy. And to be frank with y'all, there's a crazy delay right now on my voice. It's driving me nuts. So I'll do the one headphone thing like I'm in the booth, and we'll keep it rocking.
Oh yeah, you sound like the little lady from Poltergeist. This house is clean.
I've had that happen, kids. Best thing I can tell you is just drive through your comments and just block out the noise. Best thing I can.
No worries, man.
No worries, man.
I've been through much worse. In
In
any event, for me, personally, things are pretty simple. Decent weekend. Got to see that new Spider-Man. See?
Got a little reverb.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Echo, reverb, poltergeist.
Damn it, man.
You try without the headphones. I don't know. They ain't helping.
Well, that was even worse. Let me see what I can do.
What up, Grizz? What up, Paul?
Yeah, take the phones out. Let's see what happens.
You think so? Okay. Y'all keep it rocking, man. Let me mess around a little.
Yeah, so I'll take it from there. Shout out to all of the family there at sportschicagostyle.com. Also on the internet at RRSCS. Make sure you are subscribed, as well as you should be too at the CPT man himself, Canadian People Time, at Keds the Canuck, as well as the Nomad Network. But a shout out to Chef Trips, who you can find on YouTube as well, on his own channel at Chef Trips, and his own page there at sportschicagostyle.com/Shay Trips. But he put out his a new video recipe today: instant pot ribs, making a slab of BBQ ribs in an instant pot. And
why are you starting shit? My girlfriend want to be fucking up ribs like that too.
Well, you put them in there, and then you he got a whole video about them. Tell her to check it out. But they look delicious. I've gotten a sample because I got what I'm saying, I got the plug, as the kids say. What I'm saying, that means hook up, kids. And so yeah, delicious. So check that video out there at Chef Trips on his page. And then a shout out to Coach Tripping and Trip, as well, as we are all gearing up toward the beginning of the season, as the Bears will be playing a game in less than 7 MFing days, y'all. It's preseason, but still important.
I still need to get the date too, man, because I don't know exactly what day the game come on. I need to.
It's Saturday.
Is it Saturday? Okay, so because the last time we talked, you said Thursday, and yeah. So all right, I need to get my life in order. Basically, I had a lot of stuff going on, and let me just kick off the what's been up with you this week segment that we do, man. So I'll start off with it. There's been a lot going on, to be honest with you, but I'll narrow it down to a couple things. I had a big, huge. I think I told y'all this last week, but I had a big, huge stump that I finally got up that I was working on for a long time. It took me a long time to get this thing up. It was a beast. I'm still dealing with the hyperextended elbow, and just got a brace for it. You know what I mean? And it's helping me, whenever I'm, really not doing something just to stabilize it. That's good. But also, man, recently, so my unit, my central air unit's been making a lot of noise. Not the one outside, but there's something going on around the furnace. And I'm just like, what's that noise, man? It's just like making all kinds of noise. And I'm thinking, just because it's been so hot and humid, maybe it's, just servicing a little bit more than it normally should. And then one night, my girlfriend came, I'm still out here in the man cave. She's just like, this thing, I had to go down there and hit it to make it stop making noise. And so when I'm out here producing music and stuff like that, I don't hear none of this stuff. So she came in there and told me, she's like, it's this little unit down there. I'm just like, fuck, let me go down here. And so I see it. It's this little unit that's connected to the furnace that's connected to all the connections going outside to the central air unit. And so it's making all kind of noise, right? And so I call a guy I know that does HVAC stuff, and he was set up to come over here, yesterday at 8:00 in the morning. And I looked on YouTube and saw what the thing was. It's a condensation pump, is what it is. And so when you got a unit on the outside of your house, you need to keep that thing from sweating on the inside, right? And so that's what the condensation pump is for. And so I'm just like, man, it's got electricity and all kind of wires to hook up with it. And so I didn't think it was a job that I can do. So I called him. All right, he set up the appointment. In between time, I'll look at a few more videos. I'm just like, man, this looked like something I can do, man. And this dude trying to charge me an arm and a leg. You know what? I think I'm gonna do this shit, but I didn't cancel the appointment because I wasn't sure anyway. Anyway, 8 o'clock in the morning came, the guy stiffed me. He never showed up, never called. I go to, the hardware store, find the piece, and I get it, and I go down there and replace it. And it's easier than I thought it was. Point being, all right, so anybody that has a central air unit outside their home, you've had this problem if you've had this condensation pump for more than 7 to 10 years. Guaranteed. Somebody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. It starts making noises, and when it's running out and it can't really pump out water no more, it's just down there struggling. So yeah, anyway, that's why I had to replace that thing, and I didn't think I was competent enough to do it, but I did it. The thing is, there's another little accessory wire to it, Trip, that if you hook it up to the furnace, it will shut off if something happens to the machine and it can't pump out. If it gets up to a certain level of water, just shut the whole system down. So you
like a safety feature.
Yeah, it's a safety shut off.
Yeah.
So I didn't put that part in because I didn't think we needed it, because we have 2 drains down in our basement. So if we ever, that thing ever overflowed and kept overflowing, we got 2 drains down there. I feel comfortable. Ain't no carpet down there, so I didn't feel the need to plug it up. So that's where we at, and that was my little deal and saved me a whole bunch of money. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'll bet. Because shit, a little research, a few videos, and a little handy John in your system. You can get a lot of stuff accomplished.
And some broke Bobby that'll keep you going.
Well, yeah, what is that? Necessity's the mother of all invention.
Hey, bro, it'll bring the best out of you.
and you necessitate when you ain't got no monetary resources. So it's like, how we gonna make this thing here work?
Hey man, that little thing. Anybody that has central air has run into this problem. If you have central air unit, you've been in a place more than, let's just say, 5 to 7 years, you've run into that problem. And when you run into it, guys, just know it's easy to fix it yourself. You just got to go look at a video. Don't call nobody to come out there and, hit you with a bag of nickels upside the head, man. You can do this stuff yourself.
Well, speaking of doing it yourself, I'm looking at the schedule, and now the game this weekend. You still there? We there? Yeah. Okay. Preseason game number 1 is against the Cleveland Brownies, Saturday, August 15th at 12 noon.
Damn.
And then the next one is Saturday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. against the Bengals at the Bengals. And then August 29th at 5 p.m. at the Titans. Then September 13th. But now I say do it yourself because I have a conflict. My 10, 11 year old nephew, his football season's starting up. And being the videographer I am, 8:15, we got home game against Stillman Valley. What does that mean? Bad news for Stillman Valley, whatever the hell the name of their team is. And so I won't be here. So that means Nomad has the call. And then also the 29th is a big game, away game against RRL Purple. And they supposed to be some big dogs on the street. And so you got to handle those 2 preseason games yourself, Nomad with the call.
Yeah, we'll throw it on Kez lap.
Well, not if Kez can't do his own techie supporting. Hello, how may I help you?
We'll figure
Are
it
you
out.
having problems with your system?
Give me a thumbs up. You feel like you're getting somewhere. A thumbs down.
Well, no, look at that perplexed look on his face. He ain't getting nowhere.
He ain't doing shit.
I'm working through it, bro. I'll be there soon.
Have you tried restarting your system, sir?
Yeah, maybe. If you said you hadn't done anything to the computer, or you hadn't put no add-ons or plugged anything up extra,
right?
Maybe
Updates.
Just restart that song.
Because sometimes updates can knock your shit all cattywampus too. What up, True Pilgrim? Big up, bear down.
Yeah.
What up, AC Adam?
Yeah,
what up, Paul? Oh, and I'm sorry, I wasn't there for Bears film there when Paul was on because I was having internet issues myself. But that brother can talk, so it's all good because he filled that time enough so that Nomad was like, "Let me go ahead and mute my mic because I ain't even necessary." You know what I'm saying? That man has his Bears thoughts and opinions, and he is very detailed, and he is very, let's call it, passionate about our team.
Hey, he knew what he wanted to say. That's all I know.
He said all that shit too.
It was fun though, man.
Yeah, it was. So shout out to you.
Hey man, what up, James Hunter? I ain't
what
seen
up,
you
James? What up, Jay Capone?
Hey James, we'll ask Kids when he gets back in here about that fantasy league.
What up, Jamal?
Jay Capone up in here. Jamal, what up, dog? You know what I'm about to do is put on the ticker for all the people who hasn't seen or knowing what's the latest with the Bears. You'll be able to see it all on this ticker. And if I miss something, y'all, forgive me in advance. Here it is. If you want to read a trip, you can go.
All right. Hold on. It's got a cycle because I got to get my spectacles. All right.
Everything that's been happening, all the interactions, tryouts, injuries.
And there a list. Why am I echoing now?
I don't hear it.
You don't hear an echo?
No.
Okay.
Because Kids just probably popped in here.
All right. Now this is after one week in pads.
Let it cycle back to the top.
Yeah, I got it. I'm previewing it. So I'm after 1 week in pads at Hallis Hall, the Bears have suffered a few injuries and have made a free agent signings to make up for those injuries. Now, thus far, here is the latest Bears training camp news.
Wait a minute, Trips. I'm hearing you getting the echo.
I thought I said that.
Let me read it. Latest Bears training camp news is wide receiver Luther Burden injured with a groin, Braxton Jones injured with a lower leg, DB Cam Lewis injured with a leg, defensive end Montez Sweat injured with an unconfirmed injury, wide receiver Xavier Thomas just today injured a leg, Bears waive safety Javarius Owens and cornerback KC Easy Omume with injury designations. Bears sign safety Xavier Woods, cornerback Beanie Bishop, safety Brandon Hill, and defensive back William Wright. Bears also held tryouts for the following players: cornerback Isaiah Bolden, DB Jalen Mahoney, cornerback Michael Ojemuda, cornerback DeAndre Prince, safety DQ Smith, and cornerback Eli Ricks. So yeah, they've been busy, and we're gonna break down as much as we can. Am I echoing too, y'all?
Test 1 2. Now you see, I didn't touch nothing. All I did was put on my spectacles.
Just turn your volume down a little bit. It must be just you.
Test 1 2. It's still echoing. It's not as loud.
You can actually hear your echo now.
You can't hear it?
No, I'm asking you. Can you hear it?
I can't hear it. I hear you now.
James Hunter is giving you. He says, "Turn off your feed stream mic."
Feed stream mic.
Talking about this in StreamYard.
It's only mic I got.
Okay, Kez is getting on his phone. No, he's saying it's just you, Trip.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I didn't touch anything. I didn't change anything. I didn't adjust anything from the time I would put on my glasses to it's echoing now.
Kids, do you need an invite now that you're on your phone, or can you get in just fine?
Wait, let me try again. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Technical differ fucking culties.
We should have got together before the show to try to iron some of this out, but that's okay.
Well, I didn't have any issue. It's kind of popped up.
All right, kids.
That's what she said.
All right, I'm on my lonesome. As you can see down on the bottom, there's been a lot going on at Hallis Hall, man. And just to be honest with you, I love some of the guys that we have. I'm gonna take my time and break down what I can tell you about some of these guys that we brought in. Some of these guys, a couple of guys from the tryouts, of course, a couple of people that we signed. There's 4 people that we signed since the last time we spoke, and we're gonna talk about them all. Trip, you want to give me a check 1 2?
Test 1 2. You hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, no echo now.
I don't hear one.
Yeah, before I could hear it, but now I'm good. So yeah, let's rock. Hey, hey Jamal, I love you too.
Good news. He says you're all good.
Word. All right, we good now. Now maybe kids, maybe you just needed to go out and come back in. Reintroduce yourself.
Thank y'all for the feedback. We need to hear.
And thank you all for your patience as well. It's a live show, y'all. Live show.
Well, let's get to the breakdowns real quick. Let's start with where we need to start, and that's the biggest news of the moment, because we needed this help and we needed it badly. Where are we? Where's your your picture, Mister? Where are you at? Oh, here we go. Xavier Woods. Lord knows we needed this trip. Lord knows we needed. I'm gonna tell you why the sign. I know you the old man critic on the show, man. You just like he too old to be. Nah, let me tell you
I'm
something.
good. You're not the boss of me. You don't know.
We needed an older guy. The thing is, this guy is almost everything that the 31 brought to the table. I don't even like mentioning his name right now, but he's almost everything that guy brought to the table. Just as savvy, man. He's just savvy and knows everything. He understands everything, and ain't nothing fooling that guy out there. And if you're gonna bring a veteran in there, that don't mean you don't have confidence in the younger guys, because they double it down and brought in a couple more safeties. One of them just like him. And we're gonna talk about him a little bit later on. That's Brandon Hill, who I scouted a few years ago coming out of Pitt. So I already knew who that guy was, and I loved that signing. And so anyway, that's where we are right now. We had to go sign a safety because we need some experience back there. And for all the people that might say, okay, how come we don't just go with some young guys? Can we get some young guys back there and just let them go? Man, you talking about blown coverages all over the place. You can't have 2 young, inexperienced guys back there. You already got one, and you're gonna have to help him out sometimes. 2 of them, that's just disaster waiting to happen.
Well. Contrary to popular belief, I'm okay with this signing. I'm not a total ageist there. Thank you very much, Nomad. But Kids isn't here right now, but I got to give him a shout because he's not here to, pat himself on the back or finger himself in his own bum, however that expression goes.
Oh, just fix your filter, man. Shit.
It's different translations, but it's meaning to enjoy your own company and pleasure yourself because you were right and correct when he called that Xavier Woods would probably be his agent, and his people would be receiving a call from Ryan Poles and be invited to Hallis Hall. Yeah, now, are you back there, kids? Is it working?
I think how do I
echo?
But I'll just pat myself on the back for my shit on mute.
Okay, it's the back, not finger in the bum. Okay.
No. Stop saying that. God, you just making my stomach hurt.
You might need an enema.
All right. It sounds okay right now because kids' volume is off or whatever is going on. Holy crap! What's wrong with him? What's wrong with this guy? I don't know, y'all. Anyway, we talking about football. Um, yeah, this I love this pickup, man. He's one of the guys. I'm almost feeling like we might have mentioned him a couple months ago. I'm not sure because we talked about so many free agents that were out there. I'm not sure if we did Xavier Woods or not. If we even got to him. But yeah, this is a good, solid. This is about as best you can do under the circumstances, given the situation that we're in. The guy is, I mean, you can't buy 9 years of NFL starting experience. He's played a lot of football,
Well,
starting football too.
well, you can buy it, and I think we just did. And I'm okay with the signing of someone, his age because, of the other, younger signings, to identify some talent to develop. But, Xavier Woods, he's already, made plays in practice and he's only been here a week, not even a week. So his experience is already, showing, and hopefully it'll be able to pay dividends. And, when guys get healthy, now there's solid veteran competition there for the spot. So it's not just handed to anybody. So, the injuries unfortunately have, created depth, but that is part of the game. And, as far as, Xavier Woods goes, he was probably doing what we've been saying that veterans, were doing all off season, was chilling and wait until camp started and opportunities arose with injuries. And first week of pads, the need arose and here he is. But he's obviously been keeping himself ready as a veteran and an experienced 9-year pro would, so that he's able to come into camp and didn't need really ramp up time. He came in ready to roll. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. That seemed to be the mantra that he has been dealing with. So now he's here and we welcome him. And unfortunately, we need him. So bear down. Let's go. And let's just hope that we don't need no more.
Here's another little added feature to his presence on this roster now. And I'm knocking on wood before I say this because I don't want to jinx nothing. Him being here and us having a rookie safety that we expect to start. I think the world of Dylan Thieneman. I think he came in here pro ready. However, there's still a curve that he has to learn. There's a learning curve here, and he could start off really really good and then hit that rookie wall at some point and struggle. A lot of guys do this every single year in the NFL. Real high level talent can hit, even those guys can hit a rookie wall. Talent ain't everything. It's about knowledge, understanding, and what you have in your computer. And if you're seeing too much and too much is happening to you, you can get crossed up real easy. If he happens to run into that wall and starts to struggle and we're in the pivotal part of the season, easily they can pull him for a game or so, a half, however long they think it takes for him to get himself back in where he needs to be. Now you have that feature here on the roster. You have a qualified guy that played a lot of football that can come in here if this guy, runs to any kind of struggles. That's another added feature to it. So not only is he going to come in here for at least a game or two to help out the Kobe Bryant absence, if our young rookie starts to struggle at any point, we got a safety switch now.
Well, according to Bears reporter Courtney Cronin, Woods laid a heavy hit on Colston Loveland over the middle and made a strong impression on his second day with the Bears. And then, according to Adam Johns, also a Bears reporter, Xavier Woods intercepted a Caleb Williams throw in the final team period. He also hit tight end Colston Loveland hard on a 4th and 10 play. So yeah, Xavier Woods, he he is definitely fulfilling a need.
Yeah, this is a huge signing. I've been going off about all off season about I think we just don't have enough in our safety room. I felt like beyond the starting two guys and three guys with Elijah Hicks who's still injured a little bit, the drop off was real. Drop off was real, and then we lost another guy in man, my weather radio is going off, y'all. So sorry if y'all hear that.
Oh, you got some weather coming through, tornadoes or something?
I don't know, man. I need to go check and see.
Well,
But
it's been storming in the area all day, and there is some flooding that is expected in the southeast Chicago area, like right there by Hammond and all throughout there. Torrential rains and watch out for flooding. So there have been thunderstorms passing through. So if your weather alert is going off, see what the hell's going on.
yeah, my other half is in there checking it out. She'll let me know.
All right.
But yeah, this guy is. I feel so much better now because as you know, again, man, and I like what Dennis Allen said in his presser today, because there's a lot of people hitting the panic button because so many injuries have happened. Hey, breaking news, y'all! Football is violent, man.
Hey.
Football practice is violent. Training
Well,
for a football season is violent.
come on.
Some
Well, I
guys
mean,
get hurt
no man. It's a game where you have to wear what are helmets made out of?
sometimes. No, that's a good question.
You got to wear whatever the hell it is helmets are made out of and pads and stuff. And of course, for practice, I think Coach Football Cycle will understand this, that the players that have the mentality and the physical demeanor to play football and to be able to unleash that controlled violence like the big dogs do. Ben Johnson understands that you got to sometimes let the big dogs eat. And you got to let them hit a little bit because that awakens what needs to be awakened for the season. And if you don't hit and you restrain that dog in them, until the season, now they have a slow start to the season. The dings, the bruises, the injuries, it's gonna happen, bro. And just be thankful that the things that we're looking at now are, in a few weeks at the beginning of the season, because we see all around the league that guys are dropping like flies for the goddamn season. So shake it off. It's all good. We got trainers, we got other players, but we got to have that physicality. And you toughen that up now. You get the calluses built up, and then by the time the season's here, you ready to punch, a goddamn bamboo tree in half. So this is something that we need to see, but the toughness and the aggression is being controlled. It's not just, dogs off a leash, it's dogs on the leash, but letting them, so if we're going to trust in Ben Johnson, who has addressed this specifically because of, the injuries, he said, hey, you have to have the aggression, but it has to be controlled. It has to be contained, but it has to be aggressive. And, that's what we want to see as a fan base. We don't like the injuries, but when the general manager has to pivot and bring in players that have familiarity with the coaches or the system or experience in the league, we got to roll with that, y'all.
And the good thing about Xavier Woods here is he got at least to miss at least a quarter of all that. Got another 3 quarters to go to finish the training camp. But yeah, that's those veterans like that. They really don't need all that physicality in this camp, but they got to do it, and they got to take some days off. You're going to hear about guys, okay, he got injured, that guy got injured. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He's just getting his time off because he don't need it.
Right.
Yeah, that's
and,
all.
And many of these quote-unquote injuries now, as I think it was Grady Jarrett said, you have to know the difference between being injured and being hurt. Some of these guys that are limping off of the field, they could go if there was a game next week, but this is preseason. So, you give them time to get right and not push it.
That's right. Hey, I tell you something, man. One thing that I get to thinking about camps and Booker funny as hell talking about they got a raffle to 49er fans to go out
What
there.
up, King? Well, they out there by that power plant, so they
Yeah,
got bad stuff,
that's a whole little storyline on the side.
right?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Ron, just busted up in here.
What up,
One of the
Ron?
things I remember about training camp. See, we had a coach. We had to shut our coach down in high school because my senior year, man, I remember my junior year him doing this and there was no energy. So what I'm talking about is when the pads do come on in camp. Pads do come on, everybody start hitting, everything is live, everybody just beating the snot out of each other for 2, 3 hours. You know what I mean? Just physical from pretty much the beginning to the end. And while you're doing it, the adrenaline's going and you ain't feeling nothing till you go and you go home. And it start to feel what you just went through. And so the worst thing in the world is going right back to back practices like that. Guarantee you those two practices won't be the same. So the Bears are doing this smart. They bang and they bang hard, and he gives them like a practice off to just go through, run around, just stuff that you ain't got to hit each other with. And you need that. You need that. You need to get out there and run a little bit and keep doing stuff to keep yourself loose. But man, being
Keep that
smart enough
lactic
to
acid
know,
flowing.
being smart enough to know not to bang them 2 days in a row is that's
Yeah,
you
let him recoup. Let him recoup.
you got to have that, man. So that's the worst thing about a camp is not having a coach that understands. That's the worst thing about a camp.
And it's finding that balance between toughness and softness, between too aggressive and too passive. And it's an adjustment. Last camp was Ben Johnson's first as head coach. This season, I think the beat reporters have been saying this camp seems less violent but more focused violence, if that makes sense. I can't remember the exact quote, but somebody in the chat help us out. We got some of the smartest no maniacs, the Canuckers and Sports Chicago Stylers in the chat. But basically, shit happens, but you got to push it a little bit, but not too much. And finding that balance is the key.
Bro, let me tell you something. I remember that. I got to say this one more time, man. I remember the next day, I was one of the juice guys on the team. He's coming up, coach is running up to me talking about, what's going on, Deuce, where's that juice? I told that motherfucker at home. Everybody bust out laughing. Like, man, dude, we tired, man. It's time to shut this down. And that's when coach is just like, y'all tired? Everybody's like, man, we need to end this. And like in unison, everybody starts speaking up once I said something. And he shut down the practice and knew immediately right then and there. He's one of them people, I don't know if you ever met somebody like this, but don't have common sense and just awareness. Just you can't feel that everybody's tired. We ain't the same group of guys that you just ran into the dirt yesterday. Like, anybody got that kind of energy right now. We tired, we sore. So that's what you're dealing with. But anyway, Xavier Woods, dang, dude. I mean, I'm talking about, I was watching his tape, and this is before we even signed him. I was looking at some of these free agents out here. One of the things I think is very impressive about a guy at safety is when you got a flood concept coming at you, Trips, and that's like a layered concept, and you got pretty much 3 routes coming in your direction, and you as the top of the defense, the very back of the defense rather, have to decide, okay, which one of these things, if I'm going to bite on something, which one of these routes do I want to go help out? And knowing your discipline, knowing your keys, knowing when to, okay, let me show here. And if I got the athleticism, I can get back to this route that he might want to get to secondarily. You see that on Xavier Woods' tape so often. Kevin Byard, I saw that on his tape so often. He'll come down low in the middle of the play and then hop back out there and have the speed, the agility to get back out top so nothing gets over top. That's what you're getting with Xavier Woods. Experience, know-how, and just real deal NFL football safety. We are good. When I tell you we strict, we good now. This is the guy we needed.
Right on. There was a play in camp where Luther Burden ran a rep in the red zone and caught a touchdown. And it was a route to, it looked like the defense was in cover two, which I really don't like in the red zone. I'm looking at you, Dennis Allen. But then Dylan Thieneman was lined up like 8 yards deep in the end zone. Josh Blackwell was the right cornerback. Burden was lined up in the slot. I don't know who the receiver was out wide, but that was out wide receiver ran like a drag going that way. Blackwell passed him off. Burden came off the line to to the back line of the end zone. Now, Thieneman was the safety 8 yards deep. He bit finally toward his outside to his right, Thieneman, to take away that back line, because had Caleb thrown it that way, I don't think 39 Blackwell was going to get there. So 31 had to cover it. And so as soon as 31 went to his right, the quick feet of Luther Burden cut back to the post, wide open touchdown, middle of the field. Now, I went back and forth with J2K, shout out, there on the Twitter. And J2K was saying, the rookie got toasted on that. And my view was more like, well, even a veteran, I don't know, can do much better, given an 8-yard cushion, basically at the goal line. Do you think that in a cover two, in that safety, that, experience would be able to stop that play? Or is that just a offensive play that's going to 9 times out of 10 beat that defensive play call in that situation?
I would probably tend more towards what J2K is saying, and a good experienced safety knows to stay high enough so that if something does bend back out your way, you don't lose leverage. That's the best way I can answer that. And that's just being honest with you about it. Yeah, I mean, even the good ones get in the flow of the game. They think they see something. They bite the cheese too. So you're right, and he's right. That happens to a lot of dudes, but it's gonna happen to a young one more often than not, as opposed to a veteran.
Okay. All right. Now, Smitty Q Big Up is saying they know what to expect, and the players and coaches are showing up ready to play football. But Khalif Raymond was the outside receiver on that play. And so Khalif Raymond on the outside, Luther Burden in the slot. Raymond goes on the slant or the drag that direction, and then Burden's out that way. And so that's Ben Johnson scheming a wide open look. And basically, if the safety goes to the outside, the receiver goes to the inside. If the safety stays to the inside, the receiver goes to the outside. So it looked like a combo, a choice route for Burden, and then Caleb reads his move. And so given that, Ben Johnson's doing some things down there.
Smitty is what up, Junior? I see you in there, baby.
Now, what up, Junior? ¿Qué pasó?
I think Smitty is pretty much right, because I know the play you're talking about because I saw it. And I didn't see enough of the whole picture to know. I guarantee you that's Ben Johnson putting them in the trick bag, and got some other stuff going on around them. That is, you put a safety in a precarious situation to see how he reacts, and you need that in camp so that he gets that look. I'm talking about Dylan Thieneman. That was good for him. Instead of worrying about that he got beaten or any of that kind of thing. That's irrelevant. It's about the look, what he can put in his catalog. If Ben Johnson keeps challenging him in that kind of way, he's just going to get better. And so you put him in more and more situations so that when the time does come and you see that look again, Ben Johnson is real good at what Smitty just said, and that's scheming people open. Making some other stuff around him look like that's where they want to go primarily, and there's other stuff going on beneath, especially in the zone. Look, you can really that's a booger in a. I played zone in a red zone situation. It's not fun, but it's easier. I just say that because you got your back against the wall with the end zone behind you.
Well, kids, do a mic check.
Microphone check.
Echo, 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 reverb. All right, while kids is fixing that, fixing that. This is the actual, what do you call that thing? Play.
Junior.
There is no volume. Can you see it?
What is this?
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. I can't see the whole picture though.
Oh well, yeah. This is all we get.
Yeah, you can't really tell nothing from this shot.
I mean, but you see, Thieneman is way back here, and the ball is snapped with Burton here in the slot. 39 is over here, pressed up against Raymond that we discovered. And as it goes, Burton is pressing the outside. Now, if he keeps running towards this guy here in the white hat, that should be a touchdown because 39 ain't getting back here and 31 ain't getting over here. You see what I'm saying so far? But now 31 sells. He takes the cheese, if you will, to go to the outside here because 10, Luther Burton, is still running toward a white hat down here, and which will still be wide open because now Blackwell, 39, is just turning his hips. And so as these two defenders are now trying to converge at the back line, Burton cuts to the inside. Thieneman is out over his feet.
Let me help you.
Touchdown post.
Here's a better representation of it. He lost leverage because he's reading the quarterback's eyes. His eyes told him, and probably his shoulder movement told him that he was going to fire that ball to the corner, and he bit the cheese. Take the sweet candy, and that's how you learn.
But now the question, what
that was
right here? He's where Thieneman is. What is he supposed to do with this kind of cushion, though? Because even if Burton just wants to stop and hook up, that's a touchdown. If he kept running toward the white hat, that's a touchdown back here. So he can't stay there, right?
I'll tell you, man. You see the guy right up under number 10 in the white?
And 21?
Who is that? 21? 30? I don't know who that is down there, but he's supposed to have, basically sideline to quarter. That's basically how we call it. And so he's supposed to have a deep quarter. And so he's supposed to, anything that comes, that's definitely on Dylan Thieneman.
Okay.
And so we got to pull this down because I got too many guys to talk about here, Trips. We gotta. I don't want to get too lost up in this play. That's just a young guy mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't even. I can't back in here.
Let's just keep going. We just got to keep fighting through it. You there?
You there?
All right. Let's just keep going, man.
I'm here, but this stuff just started going again. So I'm gonna jump on. I'm gonna try my phone best I can do.
All right, you get on your phone. Let's see what happens. All right, let's get to the next guy, next signing that we had. And let's just get this out of the way right now, because he's suspended for the first three games. The damn, did I do? Man, I didn't get the. I got so busy. I don't think I got. Oh, here we go. We did sign Beanie Bishop. He's a slot corner, 26 years old, 5'9", 182 pounds. Ain't a whole lot of nothing as far as size and strength goes. But man, he's tenacious, man. Absolutely tenacious. And I like this pickup. We need a physical guy that's not scared to stick his nose in there, runs a 4.3 that can run with pretty much any slot receiver. You got speed, you got tenacity, and you have some real meaningful football that this guy has played with the Steelers, man. And so you got all that going on. He caught with the Saints practice squad last year. I don't know how much he got into the games, but I know what he's put on the field for the Steelers, and we got a qualified piece there that you won't be able to use for the first 3 games, but that's okay too, because you're expecting Kyler to come back. And so I think they're doing is setting up a possible eventuality that we might be a little still shook up at the cornerback position or slot corner position. I don't know how bad the Cam Lewis situation is. He did get injured, but I think this is kind of a response to that, to make sure the rotation at nickel is where it needs to be in this camp. But really good pickup right here.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, kids, I can hear you. Or is that me?
No, kids ain't even in the he's in the studio, but he's not on the screen.
So why am I echoing all of a sudden?
I don't know. Just
you hear it?
Just fight through it. Trips the best thing I can.
Okay. Yeah, he's a 4.39 40 guy. And he's definitely Ryan Pohl's type because he was a UDFA.
Mm-hmm.
He was also a fan favorite in Pittsburgh as they were sad to see him go. So that's always a plus for me. Yeah, I gotta leave because I can't listen to this. I'll try and come back.
All right. So, again, let me start from the beginning. I even though I saw some other guys out there that I thought that the Bears probably want to take a strong look at. We'll talk about another one of them guys a little bit later. But Beanie Bishop, I think he's qualified. He's an NFL slot corner. Ked, you want me to bring you in, or can you get yourself in? Want me to put you in? All right. How's that?
Give me a check 1 2.
Sound good to me.
Trip.
Check 1 2.
Oh my God, Trip.
You hear his echo?
One more time, Trip.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah, you're echoing. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good show.
Wait, no, you still good, kids.
Turn the volume. Just turn your volume down a little bit. Let me try to turn Trip's volume down in the studio. Let me see if that helps.
Yeah, what's he suspended for? PD?
Trip, do me a favor. Jump out and come back in.
Sometimes I think the echo cancellation hurts the podcast.
Like I can't even blame it on my computer right now.
It's something going on with StreamYard.
It's got to be StreamYard.
Damn, I can't even move. Let me see. Hold on, don't say nothing, Trish. Let me talk to him. Trish,
let him give me a check 1 2.
1 2.
One more time.
1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4.
Okay. It's better.
Is it doable?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's saying kids is good.
I'm better. I'm loud as all. Madness. Whatever.
Yeah, I still hear a little. It's not as bad, but it's still echoey, reverberation wise.
There's something going on.
Don't worry about it. We'll try to get to it afterwards, man, if we can. But
Yeah.
Beanie Bishop, again, man, we do need help at slot corner because of Cam Lewis going down, Kyler not being in the camp so far. We needed somebody, and whether or not he sticks and stays, it for at least the bare minimum, we need that body for the camp, a qualified body that can give us some great reps, and fit the defense. And I hate it for these young guys like Beanie Bishop because, the truth be told, he needs a whole OTA system to go through to really be where he needs to get to. So now he's got to get fire hose in the face with all this information. As we speak right now, I guarantee he's on a Zoom meeting trying to make sure that he understands a few things before they put him on the field. So, I hate it for him, but hey, that's life in the NFL, man. You sometimes you might get put in an uncomfortable situation. So, football players have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, Jack. That's one thing I can tell you about it. I didn't play no whole lot of nickel cornerback, but I know I had to take reps over there. I know what it is. It's a lot of information. You know,
Well, that's kind of a question. Being he is a cornerback. Do you think he is obviously he's here and one of the releases the rookie KC is not? Do you think he's a replacement for him because he's better?
no, I think KC got hurt,
Ah, okay.
and they waived him with an injury designation. That don't mean they ain't got plans to pick him back up, but I think that's probably a formality because they need to get another body in here. So they did what they had to do.
All right, so they got another somewhat versatile piece.
You got a known commodity right here. So I think that's exactly what we need right now. We can't have too many young people. We already got Malik because of the injuries going on. We already got Malik running a whole bunch more slot corner reps that they probably is planning on giving him. And that's not really ideal for him, but it's good for him in the long run. He gonna get cooked up. He gonna get cooked up out there, but that's not really ideal for him, which is why you need somebody that's been through it already, can help kind of expedite the process a little bit. So yeah, this is definitely what we need for at least the remainder of this camp. Somebody that can go out there and give the offense the right kind of reps and the right kind of looks.
If kids his audio is acting right, I'd be interested to know with the additions that we just signed, are we able to, we being the Bears, able to afford that because of the restructuring or extension of Darnell Wright, or where the cash come from for these free agents?
I don't think any of these free agents cost a lot of money. Almost none of them.
Oh, okay.
They don't cost much. I think the Bears had about 5-7 million.
They're close to 9 million. All right. So Xavier would have been about 1.5.
Okay, so low end.
Yeah. It wasn't going to drive big money.
Okay. Yeah, well, shit. As long as we can afford him, 26 years old, that means still got some hopefully ascending to do. You already know he got that dog in him. He got that Napoleon thing probably going. Little fella complex. So ball out.
Yeah, I just like the kid. He's feisty. He's from West Virginia. Loved his tape when he was there. Just been fighting for it all his whole life. 5'9", 182 pounds. That's decent size when you're in college, man. But for a nickel cornerback playing in NFL, man, you got to be a dog. You understand me? You understand what I'm telling you?
Because there's running backs that weigh more than that.
Man, there's people's damn shoes that weigh more than this guy. Shit. A whole running back, man, that's twice his size. Man, that dude ain't got no business tackling. You got to be tough, man. You got to be tough. You playing extra linebacker, bro. You playing extra linebacker at times. So people think, nickel cornerback, oh, how good is he in coverage? Can he guard this guy one-on-one? That's great. But, most of the time he's trying to support the run.
Well, but also King is saying here in the chat that the main thing he heard about Bishop is his awareness on the field. And if the ball gets tipped, he's coming down with it.
He's a ball magnet. He just has, that's a trait that don't everybody have. He's always around the ball. You watch him on tape, if he's not there taking the ball, he's somewhere around that damn ball all the time. All the time. And when you're around ball, a lot of times you end up getting ball. And so that's why they call him a ball hawk. Because that speed, that quickness, his alertness, field awareness, he always ends up where the play is happening at. So yeah, that definitely sticks out, King, for sure on this tape. But yeah, I love this pickup, man. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but we just needed qualified guys in this camp that can keep the camp running smoothly instead of us doing a whole bunch of reps against a whole bunch of rookies. They'll just target the rookies and make fun of us all day in practice because the rookies don't know what they're doing. We needed some guys that know what they're doing at safety and at slot corner. So that's just going to strengthen the camp. It's going to strengthen everybody around us. Iron sharpens iron. That's how this shit works. And he may actually have a chance to stick. I don't know what y'all think about that, but you think, looking at our cornerback depth, fellas, what do you think? You think he's got a decent enough chance to stick around on this roster, or he's just going to be finished after camp?
Well, if he has the skill set, if he can beat out somebody for a roster spot, cool, but that's going to be hard to do, being suspended for the first 3 weeks. But that gives him the opportunity to absorb the playbook, to get in shape. So, having that depth, or at the very least, if he is, I don't know if he's eligible to be, a practice squad guy going forward, but you got to have like some kind of, depth, whether it be on the 53 or the practice squad, or, free agents priority wise, that fit. And if he can contribute, I want him on the team in whatever aspect that may be.
Yes. I was looking at some reps, one-on-one reps, and I don't take too much from none of that stuff because it's the whole drill is slanted for the offense to win. You basically playing an uphill battle as a cornerback or a safety one-on-one with these guys because everybody knows what's going on with you. You know what I mean? And you at a disadvantage. However, as much as I love Jalen Jones, I do think his long speed suffers. I think the fastest guy on the team defensively is probably Josh Blackwell. He can stay in phase with Xavier Thomas type of guy. You know what I mean? Also, this guy right here, Beanie Bishop. He's going to give him some good reps, much better reps. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that, if you go back and look at some of those one-on-ones, you'll see that. Like, Xavier is going to run past pretty much every corner we have on the team, but Josh Blackwell is that one cat we got on the team that you can't just, he can go stride for stride with you. He's faster than people think. So, yeah, we got that going on, that dynamic, and they had to increase the speed. So whoever it was that was going to come in here and be taking the bulk of these slot cornerback reps had to be a fast guy, and he's a fast guy.
So did we go on all the injuries?
I'll put it back up if you want to see it.
I don't.
Well, there it is for you, just in case some of these people that just got in the show want to see this again. You seeing it ticking on the bottom. I don't think too much of any of those injuries. However, Luther, let me just take this down real quick. Now, Luther, this is just what I know about the injury versus what I've been through. I've never gone through a groin injury, but just from experience. Now, a groin is different than a pulled muscle. Like a pulled or strained groin, that's a tendon. It's not a muscle. And like a strained hamstring or a strained quad is different than a strained tendon, which is a groin. And from my understanding of it, it depends on the severity of, let me just get Luther Burden back up here. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. It depends on the severity of the strain. Where are you at, Luther? And that'll kind of determine, maybe I didn't do a Luther Burden. Damn it, man.
Shame on you.
I didn't do a Luther Burden for tonight. I don't think. Yeah, I did. See? Tripping. So depending on the severity of the strain, if it's just a strain, I'm guessing it's going to be like 3 weeks.
Well, hold on, Nomad. Let's not guess, because paging Dr. West.
I don't know why I didn't get in touch with him.
According to Mason West from his Twitter, regarding Bears wide receiver Luther Burton, who suffered a groin injury recently in practice and should miss a little bit of time. Now, a groin strain for RTP, which is I'm assuming return to play for an NFL wide receiver, varies widely by grade.
Yep.
Grade 1 is 1 to 2 weeks ish. Grade 2 is 3 to 6 weeks ish. Grade 3 is 6 to 12 weeks ish. Grade 4 is a complete rupture, often months and potentially surgery. Based on this and Ian Rappaport's tweet, Dr. West would think that it's a grade 1, would not call 4 weeks a little bit of time as an example, but grade 2 possible. For wide receivers, cutting, acceleration, and high speed route running make symptoms especially important. Keep in mind, return to play should be based on strength, sprinting, cutting, and sport specific tolerance, not just the calendar.
So that's where I was going, kind of. To me, just based off what I heard when they said he should miss a little bit of time, it's a light strain. It's not a partial tear or a rupture. And partial tear or rupture is that's a bitch.
Well, like King is saying, that's what JJ had.
Yeah,
Jalen Johnson, he had a grade 4
yeah, that's the worst of the worst.
because he had surgery.
Yeah, that's core muscle stuff, man. So yeah, that's why I think he basically when you've been doing a whole lot, when you get those kinds of scares like that, and I think that's really what it is. It's also a warning. It's like, hey man, slow your ass down now. Slow down. That's basically what the that area is telling you. Like you're doing too much.
Well, what happened was actually for a rule that you're not supposed to have a lot of video out of camp. There's a lot of video out of camp, and I ain't mad at it. But the play was, I believe it was Tyreek Stevenson kind of rolled up on Luther's left leg on a play, and he came down kind of awkwardly, and he was, looked like he got hit maybe in the ding ding, or maybe got his ankle rolled up on.
Yeah.
We weren't sure, but now it's diagnosed as what it is.
Yeah, it's just him. I think he was he can read the writing on the wall. It should be Luther Burton season, and he's going out there showing the world that I'm ready for it. And sometimes you gotta, just like Dwayne talking about, just overworking that region, man. So, hey man, that's why I said it's a warning. When you get those kind of situations, that's your body telling you, hey man, you're doing too much. So
And that's not something that you can just push through.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do worse damage to it, trying to tough it out.
Yeah, it's like in this way, it's like a hamstring or a quad, where you calm it down by being off of it for a little while, and the next thing you know, you itching to get back out there, and you're trying to do too much, or the coaches or the trainers are pushing you back on the field. The next thing you know, you make it worse. So here you got to be very, very, very delicate. I would be totally okay, because in my mind, this is a 3 to 6 weeks, making sure you got yourself together. Let's say on the low end, it's 3 weeks to 4 weeks. That's good. But to me, I'm shutting his ass down for the rest of camp.
Oh hell yeah!
Maybe if we can get him out there, and it might be pushing it for the very last preseason game for a quarter, see how he's feeling, maybe. But right now, I think in my mind, his camp is over.
Yeah, he's proven his worth, his trust. He's attained the trust of the coaching staff and of Caleb. He knows where he's supposed to be. He has a lot, of the offense is going to run through him as well. So we know what he is. He knows who he is, and this is different than when he was a rookie coming in, a little dinged up to camp. When he wasn't up to speed, he's up to speed. So let him chill, let him get his body right, and then be good to go for the season or early part of the season, as long as he is 100%. I don't want none of this. Well, he's almost ready. Let's run him out there and see how he feels. Like, no, let him get right and then run him out there and see how he feels.
I'm like that. Go ahead, kids.
The groin is better than one zone. You might pull that again.
I'm like this, man. That in the conditioning test, I remember mine with the hamstring. It's a steps to getting yourself back out there when you open wide ass open, right? Take the steps seriously, throttle down when you're supposed to, and don't be accelerating through like for him, like trying to accelerate through tackles and shit like that. That's gonna cause a strain too. Throttle your shit down, close your legs down, and just accept the tackle. Don't be trying to step through and run through tackles and shit, like little things that you're doing during drills and all kinds of stuff. You just gotta calm the fuck down.
Well, but that's the hard part, because that's how he plays the game.
Well, guess what?
That's part of his jitterbug, if you will, the quick feet, change your direction, and you need your groin for that.
The wise man would say throughout life you have to make adjustments, and this is one of those situations. Adjust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Heal up, no adjustments necessary.
Hey man, it's just like with time.
Because when you adjust, now you're throwing everything out of whack. Your normal is not normal. So now it's like, oh, now you're favoring in the groin, which is gonna affect your hips, your knees, your ankles, your hammies, your quads, your calves, all of that, your core. So don't think of it. I wouldn't think of it as a new normal. It's like, yeah, it's gonna sting a little bit. It's gonna be a little sore. It's like, nah, you get that right and get it right for the season, because you come back too early. Now you're lost for the season.
Hey, do me a favor, kids and Trips. Talk Luther Burton for about a minute. I gotta run it here real quick.
Yeah, so kids, see what you got. Keep the sentences short. Break.
Yeah, I'm getting a little feedback here, a little delay, but I'm sad, bro. I want this kid to explode this year, and I don't want his groin to explode. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, like we were talking about injuries earlier, low dings, low dangs, low strains, low strangs. It's going to happen. And, is this a situation where, if there was an actual game next week, he could play? If next week was a playoff game, he would play. Who knows? But there's no need whatsoever to push that at all, those boundaries at all right now.
That's fair.
Give him, what is that, another 4-6 weeks until the actual season starts, 5 weeks, something like that. According to the time frame I just read there from Dr. West, that's fine for the beginning of the season.
I think we are right, though. As long as the kid spends some time just understanding the offense, his role in the offense, we'll be okay.
And then, you got to look at the positive factors. It gives other, guys, the opportunity to get a few reps. And somebody said in the chat, they've been hearing Caden Hudson's name a lot. Wide receiver, making plays out there. Xavier tweaked the ankle a little bit today. It looked like, so the receiver core, is got to heal up. So, give it time. Luther will be fine, and I'm sure.
Well, I'm almost because of technical difficulties. Hopefully, it ain't too much for y'all. I'm talking about you two guys. Maybe we need to put a pin in it, and maybe 30 more minutes, then put a pin in it,
Nah, you know what? You guys are killing it. I'm gonna jump out. I'm gonna say I love y'all. I hate all of this injury, but we can live with it. Shout out to King Booker with the apocalypse reference. That's awesome.
Dog, you ain't gonna want to miss some of the stuff that we're talking about. I promise you.
Say what now?
You ain't gonna want to miss some of the stuff that we're talking about.
Hey, I'll jump in the chat. I'll be a fan for the night.
All right, man. To me, it ain't. To me, on my end, I'm not hearing nothing.
It's pissing me right off. It's driving.
That bad? You can hear it that bad?
Yeah, he's got the reverb going.
Yeah, I'm apocalypse for real.
Chicago, are you ready to rock? Say that, kids.
Shut the fuck up.
Blow up the whole show. Love y'all.
All right, man. Get in the chat, man. Help the chat out. All right.
All right. Yeah, it's gotta be some. Hold.
What happened now?
I'm echoing.
See what I'm talking about, man?
This is some StreamYard stuff. I'll be right back.
All right, man. Let me get to the next guy, because I got to keep from getting aggravated my damn self right about now. But one of the I've been trying to keep track as much as I can with some of the stuff that's going on with the Bears, with some of the reporters and some of the podcasters that are out there. And I keep hearing this guy keeps earning more and more first team reps, right? And so when I say he's running with the ones, that means Dennis Allen actually went to the stage today, went to the podium and said, what the whole deal was. They had him running with the threes and basically making him earn those reps. And he knocked it out of the park with the threes. Easy peasy, quick work, get to the twos, knocked it out of the park again. All right. At some point, we got to find some more reps for this guy, Jordan Vandenberg, with the ones. And he continues to knock it out of the park with pads on. And one of the things I kept saying about this guy when we got him was his burst is exceptional. Energy, exceptional. Fight, exceptional. And just really gets after it. And that just really bleeds through all the tape that I watched on this guy. Jordan Vandenberg is quickly going to earn him more and more reps in that. You're gonna feel okay about when they have to take Grady off the field, who I keep hearing is having a great camp as well. When they have to take Grady off the field and spell him a little bit to save his body for the remainder of the season, Trips, you ready? I can put you back in if you want me to. You good?
I guess. How's it sound? Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay.
Yeah, Vandenberg, they said he worked his way up and he's caught the attention of the coaches. He's caught the attention of, his teammates. He is blown up Luke Newman and Logan Jones, in practice. He is definitely somebody who is getting after it. And if he keeps it up this pace, he's definitely in that defensive line rotation.
Hey, Leo, no question. They're going to play the dog. He's going to get a lot of reps in the preseason. I'll tell you, he's going to get a lot of reps. He's going to get a lot of reps. They're going to see how long his rope is, how much of an engine does he have, and they put him to that stress test and give him a whole bunch of reps. That's how you learn about what you really got. Do we got a guy that's really, really in shape? Do we got a guy that has a conditioning issue that we need to do some more on the side with him? And, they'll give him different reps when he's tired to see if he keeps his fundamentals and techniques, all kinds of things you can read from those reps that he's going to get in the preseason. They'll be able to take it right back to the film room and say, hey, man, look, this is great here. But, hey, when you got tired, when we left you in there for 8 straight plays, look at your technique here. All that kind of stuff. So you got to put them through it. You're going to see a whole lot of Malik Muhammad. You're going to see a whole lot of all these young guys.
Yeah. Not only does that line of plays get them into physical conditioning, you're testing their mental, capacity. How do they play after they're tired? Are they making mental mistakes? Are they still, giving their all? Are they slacking off at the end of the play? How long is is his leash, so to speak? So, when game time comes on game days when they count, we already know it's like, hey, this kid, he can give us a solid, 20 plays or, however many in a row. So if we got a long drive, let's kind of, balance this out so that in the fourth quarter or overtime, we still have some gas in the tanks. And it looks like that's what they're, developing here. And I'm happy to see it.
Hey, this guy, I thought he was a steal. I still think he was a steal just because of sheer. I told you, man, it's just watching him play on tape is just really uncontrolled violence. Some of his technique didn't make sense. It was just violence, really getting off and being disruptive, getting off and pushing back and fighting through any of it. Some of his technique didn't have any rhyme or reason to it, but he was getting it done just by being wild and violent. And sometimes, that's good. However, you put him in a system that people with people that really, really lean into technique, and you got a guy with all that kind of energy. Now you sharpening him up a little bit and trimming his edges a little bit and rounding them off. And now you're starting to put a little bit in the bag. And so when he does get tired, that's when the techniques come in. And that's usually when the techniques fall off for most players, when they get tired. But when you get tired, that's when you can use those techniques to kind of win. But if you're tired, then you got to know that in the back of your head, like, I know I ain't finna have a hell of a get off right here because my legs dying out. I'm gonna beat him with this. I'm gonna give him a here, and I'm gonna go there and swim over this cat. Just to see if I, that's
we
technique stuff.
we don't know where that limit is yet, but they're gonna find it. But it's gonna be fun watching him play within his limits, within his parameters. Because I mentioned Newman and Jones, but like Ron Winarski saying, Vandenberg also body slammed the Vanilla Gorilla. What is that? Bennett, Caden Barnett.
Caden Barnett.
Barnett, yeah, so I don't know what that says for the young old lineman, but Vandenberg is out there swinging a big stick and hitting people over the head with it. And I just want to see that, continue and develop, because remember, he's still a rookie, late round, pickup. So what he's doing now is just, energy, determination, and will. He doesn't have the bag or the skill set that he will.
From what I'm hearing is what's sticking out is, okay, you start him at level him with the competition where let's put some guys on your level, right? All right, let's raise your level, put you in with the twos. These are backups. Now let's put you with the ones and see if you tail off any, and don't seem like he's losing no steam. One guy I did, who was I listening to? One of the guys that's been out to practice. It might have been Coach Wants that might have said that
Wani.
it might not have been him. I'm not sure, but somebody that I can tell you for a fact that this is the case for every young rookie defensive tackle or defensive lineman, period. Having a hard time getting off blocks. Sometimes you get stuck on them, man. And if your bag ain't right, you get stuck on blocks and get carried out of a play. That's going to happen to you. But that's when going back to the drawing board helps you out. You know what not to do. You know how to set this thing, get the leverage so you get the win. You get to this guy before he can get his hands on you and start moving you. You start moving him back. So who knows when somebody was seeing that play when he was getting handled and moved out of the way. It probably was when he was getting a little bit more tired. Who knows? But I know he's got the stuff. When he's fresh, he can go. I mean, he can go. So, yeah, we got one here. I'm telling you right now, we got one here. Jordan Vandenberg is going to be around for a while here in Chicago.
Cool. Maybe he'll open up some laundromats or something.
Maybe I'll do some of that. All right, let me just throw this out here too. I watched this guy's presser today. Javon Dexter, number one, looks better than I've ever seen him. I've never seen Javon Dexter look good, and I'm hearing that he's quietly having a really good camp too. Very good camp. He keeps showing up day in and day out. And what I love hearing about him in his presser today, what he said about what they're asking him to do versus what he's been doing. And he gave detail like I've never heard him give it. What he said was, you know, they focused on, really being disruptive to the front and really attacking the offensive line, like really attacking them and getting off the ball is really what they focused on. And somebody asked him another question behind that. And he was just like, you know what? Interesting that you asked me that, because once I start doing what they've been asking me to do in practice, they took me back into the film room and showed me what I was doing last year. And it's a big difference. And I can tell you what I think most of it is. He was talking about his stance. And this happens sometimes with guys that get a little tired. And so if you see a guy in a 3-point stance trip, big old dude like a 6'6" dude like Javon. First thing you notice when you look at him on tape, especially as extended series or something, they get a couple first down. He starts to get a little tired. He ain't got a rotation in there yet. You can see his tail end starting to come up. So his butt ain't as low. And what happens when your butt ain't as low, you ain't getting the right kind of thrust off the ball. Get your butt lower. And I've seen this example too many times when I'm looking at the 49ers defensive line and how they train those guys. They're very low to the ground. Very, very low to the ground. And they're always winning when it comes to getting off the ball, and they're always knocking the playback. I think they're on something like that.
Well, what you're describing sounds like almost like a bear crawl. Staying low, firing off the ball, getting low man win, getting the leverage. Whereas Javon Dexter's thing has been, snap of the ball, count to about 3, and then stand straight up.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's coming off real clear on tape. Hey, quiet as kept, Ron. Dexter had one to me. And even though because he was stuck at doing a whole lot of zero technique, more than he ever was with the Bears. And he still ended up with 6 sacks from a 1 technique most of the time. He played some 3 technique, but more times than not, he was at 1. And so that's where they want Javon Dexter at. And so everything you've seen with Javon Dexter up until last season was a lot of 3 technique. Now he's playing more 1, and now he's getting kind of finding a home at that position. And he had a better season than you think he was. I'm watching all of this shit. There was times when he got double team and missed plays and stuff like that, but there's a lot of times when he gave double teams an ass whooping and still made a play on the ball. A lot more than he got whooped.
Well, that was his thing in college. He could, eat some double teams. And that, hasn't changed. And now that, he's maturing not only mentally, but physically as well, he's gotten rid of the baby fat. Now he's getting some of that grown man strength. So his being able to take on the double team should only improve. But Dennis Allen, has mentioned Javon by name as having, it's like, hey, okay. I believe he was getting a little more consistent. So it wasn't like, standout glory praise, but it was recognition for him, getting better or looking better. And I don't know if it was Corny or King or somebody, big up Benji as well. But this is a contract year. So a decision has to be made whether you're bringing him back or not, and at how much. So the better he looks, the better for him, obviously. But as long as he's still trending upward and getting better, that's good for his development and the team as well. Contract situation will play itself out. But from the interior, as King said in the chat there, 6 sacks, ain't nothing to sneeze at.
From a defensive tackle.
Right.
So I'm going to give you guys a wild ass prediction. I think before this is all said and done, Javon is going to be one of the standouts along this defensive front this year because he looks totally in shape. He looks, for the first time to me, just listening to him, to have total clarity. And sometimes it takes 3 or 4 years for some of these guys. I've heard that shit a million times, and I think it's true because he's had a couple 2-3 sets of coaches, up to this point, and this is what this staff wants him to do, and this seems to be a winner for him. The technique they're asking him to do, what they're asking him to do at the front, he says this right here is like a winning ticket for him because they actually could show him exactly what it is that's the difference between what you were before and what you are now. And from what I'm hearing, he's tearing that shit the F up. So I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna give you a wild take. I think Javon is going to be one of the standouts along this defensive front all year. Watch. I can tell when a motherfucker get it, and I can see
it. It takes time, like you said, to put it all together, and this could be his time. Hopefully, what's good for him is good for the team.
I'm just gonna throw that out there, man. I think it's gonna be one of them years, man, where he finally turned that corner. But we'll move on to the next thing. What else do we need to talk about here? Also, we got to throw this out here one more time. Jedrick Wills keeps on getting people's attention every time I turn on a podcast, bro. Every time I turn on a podcast, especially for some of these reporters. This is one of the names out of people's mouths when nobody was talking about this shit before.
Mm-hmm.
And now y'all gonna find out what I've been talking about. When them pads come on, he gets to show you how physically dominant alpha offensive tackle can be. And it sounds like he's in good shape and he's healthy. And that's a dominant Jedrick Wills. And he got 1 reps the other day. And now with Braxton now, him and Karan, who's also having a good camp too, are gonna go back and forth with reps. But it's exactly what I thought it could be. I don't want to call this prophecy or no shit like that because I don't want Braxton Jones to be hurt. I want him to get out there and have every chance that he can get. But I'm telling you, Jedrick Wills, bro. Jedrick Wills. He keep getting reps. I think he's gonna keep showing improvement.
Well, the interesting thing that I really applaud also about this coaching staff in this camp is that every position that is quote unquote open or doesn't have a legit ingrained guy at that spot, namely here left tackle and nickel as well and safety, not due to injury, but left tackle, they've been rotating Braxton Jones and Jedrick Wills and Theo Benedict and Karan Amagaji. The other day, Wills got a few reps at right tackle. So the decision of who is going to be the starter at left tackle, I believe Ben Johnson said he wanted to make, by the middle of this week. So it's not, hanging out there. But the issue with Braxton Jones, who was, by all accounts, also has been looking good in camp, has been in shape, under the watchful eye of Teron Armstead, who was in camp looking at his left tackle proteges. But he got, hurt, whatever that is. So, those reps are now not his at all. And so that gives Wills an opportunity to, take those reps and maybe solidify that position to the point where it's like Braxton comes back and he's like, oh, hey, I'm back. And it's like, yeah, we're going to need you to back him up or be the swing, because Wills has the pedigree. He was a baller before he got hurt. And now he's coming back, from that injury. And if he's healthy, his talent level is just, that much higher than Braxton Jones's natural talent level. So, we could have a solid left tackle starter, hopefully, to be determined within, a few days.
All I know, I don't know if you guys took my advice and went to watch, Terran Armstead's podcast, but he put another one out because he was at the Bears training camp for 3 days. They had him back,
Mm-hmm.
and again, man, I was listening intently, and I believe what he says when he says certain things, man. And I'm telling you guys, dog, we in a good situation, offensive line wise, man. He thinks this thing could be one of the more dominant units in the NFL, if not one of the most dominant units in the NFL, and partially because one of the guys you see on the screen, and he mentioned them. He was just like, man, what I'm seeing with this guy, and he's healthy, man, he can just pound people, man. His hands are so powerful, man. I've seen this dude literally be handling guys with one hand, like same way that Darnell does on the other side. Just them powerful hands, just slapping guys to the ground easily, man. When you got that kind of natural ability, and then you get fundamentals mixed in there with it and start to really hone your skill set, you're gonna bend towards dominance, man. And I think the more and more reps Jedrick Wills gets, I think he's gonna show. Like I told y'all before we even got started here, if he's healthy, the more and more reps he gets, the harder it's gonna get to keep him off the field.
Yeah, and like Corny brought up in the chat, the commies, lost their left tackle Tunsil to injury.
First thing I thought was Braxton Jones.
So they're gonna be looking, for somebody for that spot. And so if Wills is now saying, "Hey, yeah, Braxton, thanks for playing, but I got this. Gone, little boy." Now Braxton is expendable. Go ahead and throw us a little something for him, commies. Or, whoever wins the spot and whoever is not the backup, the swing, that's between Karan, Theo, and Braxton. Not all of them are going to make it. So, now Ryan Poles has to, come into, back into play for his, wheeling and dealing. Can't just cut these guys loose. Their left tackle is an asset in this league. And if you got a plethora or, more than you can keep, you're just not going to cut them. You're going to make some kind of deal.
Right. I mean, that conversation might sound like hooey right now as we're talking on a podcast, but I'm gonna tell you guys something else, man. Hold on while I get another guy up. Give me a second. Hold on.
And as you're doing that, kids is in the chat saying Karan or Theo will wind up on the outside looking in. Braxton is more or less paid for the season.
Well, let me throw this conversation on out here now. Come again, listening to podcasters, not only podcasters but reporters, listening to Terran Armstead, who was there 3 days and watched him in pads for at least 1 or 2 days. This guy is starting to level up. And an afterthought, Karan Amagadji was for a lot of people because didn't seem to be improving, bottom of the depth chart, hurt. This guy's healthy. Long arms is really starting to help him out, and his technique is starting to get better. My understanding is he's leveling up. And so when we start having those conversations about, is Braxton Jones expendable? If 72 keeps leveling up, along with having 71 here, yeah, that's a real conversation. And so all I'm hearing about Karan is like, because they keep giving him 1 reps. They keep giving him 1 reps because they're liking what they're seeing somehow.
Well, and now Kedge is saying Karan, yeah, he's getting a lot of reps. Paul is saying that's, in his opinion, that's why they're keeping Karan in the mix. If Wills wins the job and the Bears can rob a team in a trade for Braxton, so that leaves the options open as long as, we can keep guys healthy. That's the thing. Karan he was dinged up in college when he got drafted. He got, put out way too early, just hung out to dry against the Vikes, didn't look good. Then he got hurt. So his track record hasn't been a popular one for the fan base. And so he's been overlooked or as I said a few weeks ago, an afterthought. But with him, being healthy, having an understanding what he's supposed to do, and working his tail off, now maybe he's able to, show his game and play some ball. And that is a good issue to have a plethora of healthy, guys that can play left and or swing tackle.
Kids is saying Karan will get a bunch of reps for sure. You damn right he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna get a lot of reps. We're gonna see. He's gonna put him to the stress test too. Let's see what we really got here.
And now, not only is it the stress test, but now you're putting plays on tape for the rest of the league as well.
Trapeel, yeah, you're right, Cornelius. We do got Trapeel coming along. That's just gonna add to it. I just don't think. I don't know that I should be thinking that he should be a thought for this year, but I know, maybe next year or something.
Give him the red shirt.
We do have him in the wagon.
Right.
Got him in the wagon.
I would, just if you're looking at the long-term spreadsheet, it's like, all right, you work with, Wills, Braxton Jones, Theo, and Amagaji this year, a combination of those. And then, you got Ozzy, looking hopefully to return next season. Give him this season because I just don't think it's necessary to have Ozzy trying to come back in the middle or end of a season when this team is hopefully, pushing for the playoffs, because now he's got to get up to speed and now he's got to do all this. And now you're at the end of the season and hopefully by then, who's ever at left tackle is solidified. So it's not a rush thing, but give him the season because it seems enough bodies out here battling now.
Somebody's got to lock down and I think I know who could be the guy, but somebody's got to lock down the left tackle. And I ain't just talking about that. I'm talking about somebody also got to lock down the swing. And that could absolutely be Theo because he's getting all reps on the right side right now. And that's just putting him through the fire to make sure that we got the right swing. We know what he can do on the left side. We keep feeding him a few reps here and there, but we want you to focus on the right side so that we know that if we give you this ticket to say you got swing, you're ready.
Out of how many do you think they keep out of Amagaji, Wills, Jones, and Benedict? Out of those four, how many do you think we keep?
I don't think they can afford to drop any of them. Be honest.
Do they have the roster space to keep them all?
I be honest with you, man. I don't know. The thing is, you won't have Ozzy. They'll probably designated him to some kind of pup. And so that's going to kind of open up this avenue for an extra guy to be here. So I think right now, I don't think they can afford to really eject anybody. They might let one.
I mean, you only got a 53-man roster, and you still got to have, centers and guards.
Yeah, I think they need to. That's our weakest position right now. And so
which one?
Left tackle.
Okay.
Then they're trying to turn it into a strength, and that's why I think they should keep an extra guy. So that they can. You need time with these guys need time. And one of these guys really, really lock it down in a serious way, then they'll probably I agree with y'all. I think you keep them all. But if one of these guys really stands out and just decide I'm taking this month, then you can probably talk yourself into letting the guy go. And and I think that's probably between three guys, to be honest with you. And anybody beneath Braxton is liable.
Kids are saying, trade one away if the opportunity's there.
I think that's probably the more likely situation that somebody gets moved not released. Somebody gets moved in some kind of way, some need for some other team, and that's going to help us in the long run financially, especially if it's Braxton. But we get to that when we get to that. But I think if none of that stuff happens, they keep 5 tackles. I think that's a smart move. So let's get to the next thing, man. Some of the guys. Let's talk about some of the guys that we signed, and I want to talk about this guy for real. Brandon Hill, 25 years old, safety, out of Pitt, 5'11", 195. And when I tell you I was pretty high on this guy, this is a true box safety. So when I tell you when they signed Xavier Woods, and they knew what they were looking for, they needed a guy with to be a certain type. They're looking for a type. And okay, we got this veteran guy. Let's double down and get a veteran guy that has the same kind of traits. Brandon Hill brings that to the table. This guy's a true box safety. I'm not going to say and limit him, put no ceiling on him and say he can't play free safety, because I've seen him do it. He's done it. I just say his physicality makes him better suitable for a box safety, strong safety, which we have a weakness right now, and we need some depth. This guy's a true box safety if I ever seen one at the college level, and I think he can do that given some time. Like I said before, Trips, I think it's, football is unfair at times, man, because I think these young guys need all the OTAs that they can get so they can get an understanding of what's going to be asked of them, the calls, the checks. He got none of that, and he's just getting thrust into the fire with the water hose in his face. But I think from what I've seen on tape, he's got a very mature game. I think he'll be able to, with a whole bunch of Zoom calls and a whole bunch of checking in with the coaches, I think he'll be able to get up to speed pretty quickly. This guy, you would love to watch him on tape. You will love to watch him on tape. He's absolutely a physical. Hey, this is what you want in the box. Somebody that One thing about him, I can tell you right now, if nothing else, he gonna hit shit. I promise you that. He plays a Bears brand of football.
And it looks like he was drafted in the 7th round by the Texans in the 2023 draft. So he's young, but he does have experience. So a little bit of both, which I like. He's a low 4.4 guy, so he has speed, he has a toughness, and he is coming into an opportunity where he has an opportunity to make a NFL team. So with the situation we're in because of injuries, opens up opportunities. And let's see what Mr. Hill can bring, because I'm sure he's going to get plenty of opportunity on the defense as well as special teams.
I know what stood out to them on tape when they was looking at him. I bet you this dude has been on Ryan Poles' radar anyway. I bet he probably wanted to scoop him up and maybe draft him or get him as a UDFA, and he never was able to. But the scouts kept track of him, and Ryan Poles kept track of him. And like, oh, okay, we can get it. Let's just bring him in the building.
Right. Those are my guys that I want this front office to go after, are the ones that are squeezed out of teams that are different schemes, or squeezed out on their practice squad or released, but players that they wanted, but couldn't attain at the time. But they're available now, and whatever qualities and traits that they are looking for that they found in Hill and these other players, being able to capitalize and go out and get them, and now bring them into the fold and let them fight for a position, because safety's wide open because of injuries and just lack of depth that we had going into the season, not the season, but going into this camp, from the jump, having 4 safeties on the roster, and now you get 2 of those guys down. Mr. Hill, your table's ready.
It's the Hill, and we just got the other safety from the Vandy safety. We got some young guys. Here's the thing: they only have a certain amount of time to learn what they need to learn and be up to speed and play fast and give themselves a good showing in this camp. And they've got about a week to do that.
Because if they don't, Kitty Cat Don Burst saying that he's going to be your next HVAC tech for your central air unit.
That's a good one. Nah. You watch him play, Don. You'll love to have him in a Lions uniform. Not bullshitting, bro. I told you when I first started doing this podcast, and he was one of the guys on the list. He was one of the guys on that list, man. He's a box safety, bro. Physical one too. I love it. So yeah, I think this guy was a good signing. I just hope that he's got something to him that he can, speed up his learning curve and really be able to put it together for about a week before they get to this preseason game. And if he plays a halfway decent preseason game, they keep him long enough that he can get another one on his belt. So that's another week of working in the system to get better, get a little faster, so you can play up to the speed that you're capable of. So they're up against that, and of course, all the other guys on the roster. So you got to whoop your own learning curve before you start, toppling some of these guys on the roster. So that's what they got to deal with, some of these young guys.
Now, AC saying that Brandon Hill reminds him of Major Burns.
I think he's much quicker than Major. Major Burns, I love Major Burns, but I think this guy is much quicker and much more sudden to the ball. And Major Burns, to me, in my mind, I saw Major Burns as a free safety more than I saw him as a box. And so that would be the difference. It's a subtle difference, but it's a difference to me. This guy belongs around the line of scrimmage and hitting shit. Major had a good field awareness of the whole spectrum. Not to say that Brandon Hill doesn't, but that's just the way I saw Major Wright versus this guy. What up, Joseph?
What up, Joseph?
All right, let's get to another guy. We picked up a couple of dudes, and this one I didn't get a chance to really dig into. Couldn't see much on him, but we signed this guy, William Wright, another defensive back, 23 years old, 6 foot, 198. I think they're gonna bring him in here to, this could definitely be a camp body, and get some reps at safety. Keep the camp going. But I'm not gonna jump to no conclusions about him, because I wasn't able to see as much as I was looking to see about this guy. I didn't go dig. I didn't have time to dig all the way into the Tennessee tape like I thought I was going to be able to, because I had shit going on at home. But I will do my work after this. So the next time we talk, and I'll have more to say about William Wright, but we also signed this guy. What's interesting about him, I know enough about him to know this. This guy stayed at Tennessee for 5 years. He made it to the NFL from being a walk-on at Tennessee. If that tells you anything about the mindset this guy's got about him, that should tell you a whole bunch. You walk on at a big SEC school like this, work your way into some starts. He wasn't a full-time starter at safety, anything like that, but he got some time in there, tore it up on special teams. I know that much about him, but people think enough about this guy. He's getting camp invites, he's getting tryouts and all this kind of stuff. And this time he got signed. So that's why I never ever doubt one single player that gets signed to one of these teams, especially on this roster, because you just never know what could happen. You never know. But I'm gonna do my work, y'all, and we'll see next time we get on the podcast what I find out. But keep an eye on him, see what happens. Might not be
6 feet tall, almost 200 pounds. He seems, to be a young piece of clay for Al Harris and the rest of the staff to mold. If he's a camp body, is he a practice squad guy? Is he going to make the roster? Who knows? But he has, whatever qualities necessary we have a need. Welcome to the team, Mr. Wright. So we got, JJ, we got MM, now we got WW.
You just gotta trust what the coaches in the scouting department can put together. They see what they see, and they bring a guy in. You don't get signed for nothing. You just gotta trust him. Best thing I can tell you. But I guess I'll have more to say about him a little later on after I dig in. Just had to mention it. Let me see what else we need to be talking about here. Notable guys that got. Let's get to some of these guys that got a couple guys that got tryouts, man, that I want to talk about. And that is number one. Let's start with this guy, Isaiah Bolden, 26 years old, cornerback, 6'2", 205. Has played meaningful NFL games. He was a starter at times in New England. Played meaningful football, so you can't just sneeze at this. Now, let me just break this down the way it should be. I know we got problems at safety. I know we got problems at slot corner. This guy ain't no slot corner. He's a boundary corner that can get in there on, when you got big nickels, big dimes going on like that, you can get you some slot reps out of a guy like him. But to play slot full time, no, he's not. He's a boundary corner and a freaky athletic one at that. To me, Isaiah Bolden, looking at his tape, I've been watching him since he was at Jackson State. Got on the team, I think, with I want to say I can't remember who was a New England coach, but got drafted by the Patriots, or maybe not drafted, but he ended up making the team and ended up playing significant football and was getting better, constantly getting better. But here he is out here on the market. I think this guy is a boundary corner. And the reason why I think they're giving guys like him tryouts is there are several. It's because maybe they don't know. One, we lost Dallas Flowers, who was a boundary corner. Number one, he's gone. Two, Terrell Smith, we don't know exactly what's going on with him as of now. And so we need to make sure that there's, some supplements in there. So I think this is a starting caliber cornerback, boundary corner that we can bring on the team that can give some good reps. And I don't know if we keep a guy like this, but who knows what happens for the rest of this camp. I'm glad they brought him in for a tryout.
Yeah, Nomad mentioned those cornerbacks, with Smitty down and Flowers gone, but, KC gone. That's another cornerback room vacancy. So veteran, young in age, but veteran in the league with experience, cool. Bring him in, see what he got. And if the need arises, his name's in the Rolodex. And for the Utes, that's like a directory with names and phone numbers and stuff and information that's right there at your fingertips. So if he is needed, we already have tried him out and he's ready to go. Ain't that right, Red Baron? What up?
Hey, I'll tell you another interesting note about Isaiah Bolden. And this has to be true because he would no longer be in the NFL if it wasn't. You get more physical as you play the game in the NFL, or you lose reps, or you're not on the team at all. I'm gonna tell you what happened when he first got here. I think the size and the physicality of the NFL game made him a little gunshot to for lack of better words, and he was kind of laissez-faire, to the tackle. And I can tell from his first couple of opportunities I looked at that the New England coach is like, hey, dog, nah, that ain't gonna play, dog. You gotta hit when it's time for you to hit a hole and hit a back or hit a tight end, you gotta hit him. Ain't no. You can tell that he was a little bit lightweight, intimidated by that. And I can tell as his rookie season went on, when he got those opportunities, you can see like he was on shit. And eventually that grew into the second year, him getting more and more reps and ended up being somebody they can trust as a starter. I've seen him graduate, go from this to that. And so as opposed to getting a guy that, a young guy that's you got to work through all that with. We're getting a guy with an understanding. He knows what he's dealing with. And so all that shyness you had at the beginning, that's if you want a job in the NFL, you already understand that. So we ain't gonna have that problem out of Isaiah Bolden if we sign. But he was here for a tryout, and this is a starting caliber cornerback out here that we just brought into the building. If Terrell Smith somehow is in a situation, and I feel sorry for Terrell Smith, man, because I know he's frustrated. He has to be frustrated. You're doing your best to get on this field, and you get out there ready to put your best foot forward, and something else happens. It's effed up, but that's why they're bringing guys like him in the building, just in case this ain't gonna work out.
Yeah, no, Paul. The Bears did not sign Bolden, but they did bring him in for a tryout.
Yeah, he's a tryout guy. So I'm not gonna highlight all the tryout guys because we had several, but just some guys that were notable to me.
Right on.
Let's get to the next guy. Another one I really, really like looking at him on tape is his safety. Another guy. When I told you they doubled down when they signed Xavier Woods, bringing guys like DQ Smith in the building. DQ Smith is a safety. He's 22. He's 6'1", 219. He's a big, thoroughbred, physical safety, and he plays like it's quiet as it's kept. South Carolina is breeding some dog ass safeties recently. I don't know if people paying attention to South Carolina football, but they are quickly being known for one of them universities that a lot of safeties want to go to. This guy is a physical, I'm going to knock your something string loose. That's the kind of mindset these safeties are coming out of South Carolina with. And I know that's the first thing that they notice about him. But as you get into his tape a little bit more, which I was able to get a little bit of his stuff in, he's got a great field awareness too. He can be in phase going towards, trying to cover over top of this receiver going towards the sideline over here and see it was a pump fake. Swift his hips around, go right back to the middle of the field and make a play mid-stride. That's what kind of ability he has. I don't think we just don't have enough roster spots in the NFL to accommodate some of these guys that should be on teams. And I think this safety right here, DQ Smith, is one of those guys that just, in kind of a limbo until he finds somewhere where he can stick.
He can 22 years old, young guy, and no Ron and everyone else. His mama did not name him Dairy Queen. His name is DeQuandre Jawan Smith. DeQuandre Jawan.
Hey, so watch that tape. I bet you fall in love with him.
Yeah, I'm sure because the Gamecocks, they've been putting together some nice defenses recently. Some very tough hitters and smart football players. What up, Levante? So yeah, it's good that he is on the the list. He has been tried out, and if the need arises, or should they feel that the need is there, not because of injury, but because of who's here is not showing enough, Mr. Not Dairy Queen Smith, he's in the Rolodex.
I'm telling you,
somebody young that they can also mold and develop.
Go ahead. Hold on, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, big up to Kids. He's there in the chat as he was having some technical issues. So, but do please, if you are tuned in, make sure you are subscribed to Kids of Canuck. That's the channel there. The channel for Nomad, the Nomad Network, and myself, Sports Chicago Style, also known as at RRSCS. Thank you, please, and all of that good stuff.
All right, we got one more guy to talk about. And
please and thank you.
This one, I can actually, hopefully, we can get this guy in the building. Eli Ricks, another guy I started hardcore. Been in the league a couple years, 2-3 years or so. Out of Alabama, formerly at LSU. He's 24 years old, and I put the wrong. He's a cornerback. He's a slot corner, in which I'm gonna get into that story here in a minute. He's a slot corner, 24 years old, 6'2", $188. Now, let me just tell you something. What I think about Eli Ricks. Been watching him this whole career. Probably one of the top corners, if not the top corner coming out of high school. Eli Ricks, when he's right, one of the best boundary corners I've seen for in a while in college football. Boundary corner. Now remember, not slot corner. And so I knew what to expect from him coming into the league when the Eagles drafted him. They almost stole this guy. He was usually UDFA because he got hurt a few times, and that really tanked his draft stock. And he gets to the Eagles, and the Eagles have him land at slot corner. I'm like, hold on. He's one of those guys that I'm feeling like, okay, he's not going to be big enough to be able to handle that. I think they putting the 188 is kind of rich. Be honest with you, I think he's more like 180, 182, 185 at the most. But 188, I think, is rich. And they put him at slot corner. And he's long. And so his features, so his length, his size and his length speak boundary corner to me. Just to me. Eli Ricks is a shutdown boundary corner. But they stuck him in there at slot corner, and I thought for sure he was going to drown. I said, ain't no way he's going to be able to handle the physicality in there. No way. But he somehow survived that and elevated himself. That Super Bowl season, there was times he started and was shutting that guys down at slot cornerback, Triple R. This guy that has really no business being in there, but he knows this is the NFL, and if you want to keep your job, play where they tell you to play at. And so he toughened up and got down in there and started playing. He's not a chump and scared of physicality. I just don't think he has the body type to hold up to the kind of physicality. You know, like a Beanie Bishop kind of guy. He's a little bit of nothing, but he's tough. So Eli Ricks, to me, in my opinion, is definitely playing out of position. But here we are in Chicago, given Eli Ricks' history and his ability to be able to get on the Eagles, a championship caliber roster, get a ring, playing slot cornerback for him. That tells me he can play slot cornerback in Chicago, right?
Yeah, so, theoretically, yeah.
Besides how I feel about him, where I think he belongs, we have a slot cornerback situation in Chicago, do we not?
We do.
And so, even though they signed Beanie Bishop, watch out. Watch out, Bears fans. Eli Ricks, if he's available in the next week or two, could end up on the Chicago Bears, because I know he was on Ryan Poles' radar. He had to be. Any good qualified GM worth his salt, this guy was on his radar when that draft was happening a couple years ago. Promise you. And so this guy was in here for a tryout. I'm glad, he could have took any tryout. There's a lot of teams that want to try him out, but he came to Chicago because Chicago has a particular, opening right here. But I'm wondering to myself, is he part of the thinking of, okay, we don't know how bad this thing is with Terrell Smith, boundary corner, or are they thinking we need some depth at slot corner? We need a guy that can lock this down if we give him this baton. That I don't know. But I'm loving the fact that he was in here at Hallis Hall getting a workout. Now they know exactly what he is and what he can bring to the table.
Yeah, it's kind of curious that he has the experience and the pedigree, and he's still young, but like Levante saying, I guess his health has been the detriment, that he is still available at this point in time.
I don't know. I mean, it's got to be hard to play slot cornerback at that size. It's got to be hard, bro. I mean, I was like, it's like 185 at top of my weight my freshman year, and I was light playing in the slot. Just if you can figure what I'm saying here, like, oh, I need to put on some extra shoulder pads or something. Cause this shit's hurting. It's a physical job. And that's why you either need to be made a certain kind of way or have a certain body type to be able to do that job for a long period of time. In my opinion, you need to be close to a 200 pounder, real close to a 200 pounder, in order for you to be able to maintain some, longevity with this, man. But hey, we need him for a little while. That's all I'm saying. I think he can get this job done in here for a little bit until everything get back right. So Eli Ricks, I think, is a piece, man. I just want him to get in here and get an opportunity. Love to get him on this team. All right, but that's I'm gonna save everything else for because I know Kids wants in on this stuff, and I don't even feel right, Triple R, doing this thing without him because we talking about a lot of stuff he wants to have a conversation about, and he can't have a conversation, and it's aggravating him. And I can feel that shit.
Indeed, because it's been a long time coming to get to this point where now it's like, hey, pads are on, baby. You know what I'm saying? Moves are having to be made because of injuries and some players that we thought about could hopefully develop and make a difference. Gone. Players that we thought could possibly contribute, hurt, gone. And it's like, oh shit, but that's the turnover of, the NFL because of the physicality of the game. And, so a shout out to all the new players that we signed and, hopefully, they all come together and are able to contribute where necessary. And a shout out to all the players that are injured or dinged up. Hopefully y'all get healthy. And to all the players that, had to be released for whatever reason, good luck. So it's that time of year that there is, quite a bit of turnover where there's, news about what's the offense running, what's the defense running, how are these rookies looking? And, kids have been looking forward to this, as we all are. So to get here and to have him, talking like he's underwater in a tunnel or some shit, frustrating.
Yeah. Can I get you for a few minutes after the show, man, so we can try to, because we never really have technical problems, man. We one of the shows that doesn't necessarily suffer that, man, because we stay consistent.
But that's the thing, though, is it's weird because as demonstrated several times, I haven't changed any settings, but from 1 minute to the other, now all of a sudden I'm echoing. And it's not like I changed anything. All I did was close the tab, come back in, everything's fixed. So that's definitely seems like a StreamYard thing.
We're gonna have to probably use AI to Google this troubleshooting right here, see if it's something we ain't thinking about here.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But like comment the book of Ezra there is like plus the X factor for him is Al Harris. He can shape and mold players. He gets every bit out of his guys. So these players brought in for tryout, I'm pretty sure it's not just a willy-nilly thing. It's like a scheduled meeting between Ryan Poles, Dennis Allen, Al Harris. Hey, defensive backs, what y'all looking for? What y'all looking at? Do you have suggestions of players that you're familiar with or have coached before, that we should be looking at? And I'm sure they're on the list as well for, players brought in. So, with Al Harris's input, I appreciate the 30-something guys and veterans that can come in and contribute right away. But the excitement for me lies more with the young guys that can develop and make a name for themselves and that will be here, to contribute going forward. So yeah, Al Harris, he could be an X factor indeed.
Hey man, look, the young guys get me more excited about the whole big picture than anything. But I know for a fact that we gotta have always sprinkled in some good veteran presence. Sometimes great, depending on what you can get. And we got some of that going on every level. If you notice, man, it is good veteran. Like I saw one video of you can tell it was a real. Hey man, look, I ain't in the best spot in the world, but I'm out here to prove my shit too. But you can tell Malik Muhammad was really taking a liking to Tyreek Stevenson. You can see Tyreek Stevenson leading him, and this guy being positively responding to Tyreek Stevenson. That's something I just saw on there. Some fan picked that up and noticed it. I was just like, that's good because usually, Tyreek Stevenson's the one being led and being brought up because he just hadn't been the most mature guy that we had on the team. But you can see that was eye opening for the reason being that sometimes it takes a little something for a guy to turn that corner mentally and emotionally. Maybe he had a kid or something, but you can see that the guy is way more mature and he's having a great camp too. Lo and
Yeah,
behold.
yeah, I give Tyreek crap, when it's deserved, but shout him out because he has been mentioned, by name by Coach Johnson and Allen for being, present, for being more mentally mature, and for toughing out. He got dinged up a little bit, like an ankle or something, but he came back out there and he kept playing. Because this is a very important year for him as well. Contract wise. So we mentioned big Javon Dexter being able to put it together after these years, and hopefully that goes the same for Tariq Stevenson as well.
I got a hot take for you, Trips.
What that is?
By the time the season ends, Tyreek Stevenson will be recognized as the best cornerback on this team.
What you mean he's going to surpass Jalen Johnson?
I think he is.
Well, that would definitely be good for his contract situation. And if he's now the number one cornerback on the team, that's definitely good for us. Deciding he wants to stay and we can afford him. So he like Ezra's saying, he has a lot to offer. He's played a lot of football, and he can help guide a young player. So we're looking at him to mature, and maybe that is taking another maturity step by saying, "Hey, young fella, here's the better way to do this, or don't do that." And Lord knows he can speak from experience on what not to be doing.
And I'm trying to tell y'all, Tyreek Tyreek is a diamond in the rough, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Just got to crack that little outer shell off of him, and I think he's doing that on his own with the influence of Al Harris, of course. Shout out to whoever it was that just mentioned that, but that was a good point. And I'm telling you, I think he always had more ability than all the corners on the team. Always had it. Now he's putting it together. I think he's going to be the best cornerback, and I think he'll leave no doubt by the time the season is over.
Well, shit, the runway is there for him to be, CB1. And he did make the comment, Tyreek Stevenson, that he was looking to be the number one cornerback on the roster after Jalen Johnson. And it's like, I guess he's, being respectful and all, but why
Yeah,
don't he just want to be the number one cornerback on the team?
that was just total respect. I ain't never met a Miami guy that said they want to be second as shit. He was just being respectful. That's quiet as kept Trip. That was a sign of maturity right there. Just knowing how to humble himself and not saying the wrong thing at the podium. That
Right
was a
on.
sign of maturity right there. Because that easily could have came out and he could have left it there. and it'd been like, hold on, Tyreek, that would have been all over the news. Come on.
So he's getting his little media savvy going on and his respect factor, so that these are all good signs. But we got to see it on the field, and as long as his head is still in the game.
I caught it too, Triple R. As soon as he was getting ready, he almost said it, but he fixed it right on up, put some mayonnaise and mustard on it, and closed that sandwich, man.
Because you heard it. You heard it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And like Ez was saying, he's big. He's physical, sticky in man coverage. He's a willing tackler. He lays big hits. Yeah, he has, all the tools. It's just putting them all together, for a full game and full season.
Tyreek would have never came out of the starting lineup if he would just had some eye discipline and stayed within the principles of the defense, but he got ball greedy, trying to go after stuff and look too long, and guys got behind him. He's better than that. And I know he's better than that. And so I'm telling you guys right now, remember Nomad told you, Tyreek Stevenson by the end of this year is going to be understood as the best corner on this team. Watch.
Let's just hope that's not by default. Let's just hope, he's got some battling for it.
I thought he was always more talented than Jalen. Jalen just had it better put together. That's all. That's the only thing that's left. I bet you if you put some truth serum in Jalen, he'll tell you Tyreek more talented than him. But Jalen put it together pretty quick. Tyreek was just a little bit more immature. That's all.
This could be, a changing of the guard at CB1 this season, according to Nomad here.
Okay. I'm trying to tell you, I know what I see. But people don't come to the Nomad Network for nothing. They know we know what we're talking about. But hey man, we got to get up out of here, man, because I'm kind of feeling my boy Kez, man. My empathy gene is strong, and I know how he feels right now. So we're gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna, get into some more stuff. We'll do I'll tell you right now. Wednesday show will be extra Bears again. I ain't gonna say it's gonna be all Bears that show, but we'll go deep into the Bears because we're one day. Well, that'll be the last show we'll be able to do before the first preseason game. So we'll make sure we cover it pretty damn good on that show. So make sure you hear Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central on all 3 channels on the Nomad Network for Chicago Style and on Kids of Canuck, because we'll be streaming live on all 3. So hit that like button for us, man. Hit that subscribe button for all 3 channels. But we're going to give any last words before we get up out of here, Trip?
Big up to everybody in the chat. If Kez was here, he'd read everybody's name, but he's not. So we're going to leave that for him. But also a shout out to Kitty Cat Don Byrne, y'all new backup quarterback, since y'all had one retire. Now you signed an alien or an astronaut or both. Check y'all out Wednesday on some extra sauce. And there, I'm sure, will be more news from camp. Hopefully no more injuries and any signings or what have you. We got you covered. So until then, bear down.
Hey man, appreciate you guys for being here. Appreciate the super chats, man. Y'all, again, I keep telling people we haven't monetized the show in about a month or so, and the pockets is hurting. Trying to stay alive and afloat out here in this Bears community ain't easy. It does cost money, and right now we ain't making none outside of the people that send us some love in those super chats. So I mean it when I tell y'all we love y'all for that, man. Not because you're sending them, because y'all here all the time and y'all make us relevant, man. But when you can do that kind of thing, that definitely helps out the bigger picture, because we do need tools to make sure all the visuals and audio and stuff happens. That costs money. So I just want to thank y'all, man, that came in here and dropped those super chats, because we appreciate it, dog. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you. I want to leave you guys with these famous last words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.